So now we go into our first final of the weekend. It is Minimax and Minimax Rookie up first. Here's your starting grid. It's an all-Belgian front row with Lars Lambers starting from pole, and alongside him will be Alexander Van Meeuwen. Then we got Finn Albert Jorgensen, Jacob Ashcroft, Maxime Becker, Rory Armstrong, Thomas Verheyen, Tom Reed, Vic van Kampenhout, and Felipe Reyes running at the top 10. Felipe Reyes was given a 5-second time penalty post-race for a push to pass. Maria Roberto Jenthimunu will start from 11th and 12th respectively. Lieke van Berkel, Jack Freeman, Bran van der Weken, Victor Reutz, Samir Paul, Ryan Rivers, Zega Frans and Tristan Shays ran at the top 20. Rounding out the 31-strong grid will be Jeff Verbeek. Jakob Kubera was found to have used the runoff area to pass and got a 5-second time penalty. Starts 22nd. Leon Herboz, 23rd. 24th, Jonathan Falkenberg Otto, who got a 5-second time penalty for using for a front fairing penalty post-race. And then we had Daniel Ferguson, 25th. Benedictas Masiokas, who also got hit with a penalty for using two wheels out of the tram lines on the start. Starts 26th, ahead of Jensen Walker, Pauline Van Poit, Kieran Stewart and Vitek Kubera, with Tristan Abiels actually being excluded. Well, Kieran Stewart and Vitek Kubera, not at all surprised, they're both not taking part. So Tristan Abiels rounds out the 29-strong grid. Fastest lap in the pre-final was by the 165 of Finn Albert Jorgensen, who has his overall highest starting position this season. Let's not forget. Third place for the youngster from Denmark. So 13 minutes on the timer, plus an additional lap. We get ready for what will be the halfway point of the final weekend of the championship. It's going to be close between quite a few drivers. So the field slows to a crawl, heading into turn number 12 on their formation lap. So our race director has waved the fingers, but however, we've gotten underway. Lambers leads the field going into turns 1 and 2. Van Meeuwen following behind. Ashcroft high, wide and handsome around the outside at turn 2. Uses the runoff area. So is Rory Armstrong. Armstrong up. Oh, big incident! Big incident! Felipe Reyes. I think also Jenthimunu involved in the secondary incident. So there were two two-card incidents. Felipe Reyes, all four wheels up into the air. So yellow flags. Not at all a surprise at Marshall posts 1 and 2. And Felipe Reyes out, walking across the circuit towards Marshall post 2. Full course yellow, race neutralised. So, full course yellow, they cannot be overtaking, slow down please. Oh, it was nearly 4 abreast going into turn 12. The yellow flags and the slow boards have come out. Race has been neutralised. So Ashcroft is in the lead. So let's have a look. Jenthimunu involved. I'm trying to see. Okay, right. The first incident was between Felipe Reyes and Finn Albert Jorgensen. That was the first incident. Then it caused the chain reaction that meant that Maxime Becker and Jenthimunu got caught up. Jenthimunu is standing on 2 feet. So full course yellow. Timer, however, still counts down. So 4 karts eliminated on the spot. And it has really changed things around. So at the moment, at the time that the full course yellow came out, there is going to be Right, okay. Yenthemunen being guided to the marshals at Marshal Post 2. Might have been a little bit dazed and confused after that incident. Not at all surprised. Maxime Becker, I think, is also over there. And looks to be okay, standing on his own 2 feet. So 4 carts out. That brings us down to 25 drivers. Ashcroft from Lambers, Van Meeuwen, Armstrong, Reed, Van Kampenhout, Verheyen, Freeman, Van Berkel, Reutz, Van der Weken, Rivers, Ferguson, Shays, Kubera, Herboz, Samir Paul, Pauline Van Pret, Maria Roberta, Zega Francis, Benedictas Masiokas, Jonathan Falkenberg, Jeff Verbeek, Jensen Walker and Tristan Abeels. And even our race director, Thomas Liner, is helping the marshalling team to move the damaged Haase chassis. That is of Yenthemunen's cart. Well, that just goes to show turn 3, when that runoff area is used, if someone is brave to put it on the inside, hold on tight, because that's exactly what has just happened. And this is given the opportunity for drivers that are battling. They might not be battling for the title. They might be battling for something even more prestigious. And when you look at who is battling for effectively second in the championship coming into this round, Jacob Ashcroft had a gap of 100 points ahead of Rory Armstrong, not taking into consideration the drop scores, which at this moment, before I even take into account the pre-final that was just had earlier on, it's 75 points. So effectively, Ashcroft has got to still have that gap come the end of today. If that's the case, he's the champion. But Rory Armstrong, Lars Lambers and Thomas Verheyen. Right, Verheyen 7th, Armstrong 4th, Lambers 2nd. So we come to the end of the full course yellow period. The green flag now will wave. Here we go, back under full racing speed because the green flag drops straight away. And we're back under full racing speed heading into turns 1 and 2. Ashcroft leads the way ahead of Lambers, Van Meeuwen, Armstrong in 4th. Tom Reed, Vic Van Kampenhout having a great run in 6th position. Verheyen, Freeman, Van Berkel, Bran van der Weken gets the jump on Victor Reutz in the early goings of the restart. Down the Europalan they go for what will be lap number 4. 7 3/4 minutes still remaining on the timer in this final. They'll do it all again tomorrow. So into turn 10 at Cafe Corner. Ashcroft will want to make sure that no one gets past him. Felipe Reyes was the closest challenger to him, but picked up a 5-second penalty. He's out of the race. Along with Becker, along with Yenthemunen and Finn Albert Jorgensen. So Armstrong trying to keep pace. I had a chat with his mum, Orla, saying, well, we know he can race. He's just trying to use the slipstream as much as possible. Thomas Verheyen gets a little touch from behind, courtesy of Vic Van Kampenhout. They are leading an absolute train. You've got Freeman, Van Berkel, Van der Weken. Rivers now up into 11th position. Victor Reutz, Daniel Ferguson, the young man from the UK in the number 15, running in the mini rookie class, is doing a standout job. Didn't have a good qualifying, but he's made it work. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get a real indication of what the young man from the United Kingdom is truly capable of. Look at the train from Thomas Verheyen backwards. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on what the gap will be, probably between 6th and 15th. Look at the gaggle. Absolutely ridiculous. Vic Van Kampenhout now looking for the inside line on Thomas Verheyen. Has got it done. Jack Freeman's got through. Lieke Van Berkel trying to thread the eye of the needle, but she can't get the job done. Time and space was kind of running out for the 185, but Ashcroft still leads. Van Meeuwen is the quickest one out there. The 127 running with GKS A 1 minute, 0.051 second lap time in the completion of lap 5. We're on lap 6 with 5 minutes and 35 seconds still remaining on the timer. It's anyone's guess as to what is going to happen now. But Ashcroft starting to stretch the legs on the Lando Norris chassis underneath him. Gap was just over a quarter of a second after lap 5. Lap 6 will now be completed. That gap looks north of 0.3. Well, it's 2.5. Lamber's fastest lap, but there's Van Meeuwen up the inside of the 142 to take second position. Alexander Van Meeuwen, who does not even factor into the top 10, let alone the championship at this point. But Ashcroft still leading the way. Jakub Kubera is now out of the race as well on lap 3. The Czech Republic driver will have to start from the inside of row number... Well, won't have to start from the inside of row number 13. What am I talking about? Have to go through qualifying and also 2 races tomorrow. But Jacob Ashcroft leading the way. And to be completely honest, Jacob Ashcroft... his finish, 4th place, that now becomes his lowest drop score. So now, Rory Armstrong, by staying in 4th, is keeping things as... Now, bearing in mind, Lars Lambers won race 1 earlier on. Rory Armstrong placed in 6th, but that becomes 5th when you take into account the Minimax Rookies Championship points, and that's a very different proposition altogether. That's 48 for Armstrong and 55 for Lars Lambers. So with 2 3/4 minutes left to go on the timer in the Minimax Day 1 final, leading the way in terms of Mini and Minimax Rookie. Let's have a look, shall we? So, Ashcroft leading the way in Minimax. Let's have a look at who is leading who in Minimax Rookie. That says to me that a certain Jack Freeman is leading. Now, Jack Freeman currently P6. He's 1.3 seconds off of Tom Reed. So now, folks, I said it was going to be a roller coaster ride. I ain't kidding. I'm not kidding at all. Because now we have the opportunity for other drivers to really make their presence felt. And in this 31-strong grid, unfortunately, chopped down to 29. Now it's 24 with Tristan Abils. Rounding out, well, who was disqualified, excluded in the previous race. That is a 0. That is something that Tristan Abils cannot wipe from any deductions. If you get an exclusion or a disqualification, that goes towards your point tallies for the season. And Sees Moyes and the Minimax Rookies had that. Was the only driver in Minimax Rookie that had that. Oh, no! Big incident. That was Thomas Verheyen on Lieke van Berkel into turns 1 and 2. Oh, dearie me. Thomas Verheyen went for a move that wasn't really on. Well, he could have pulled a little bit further to the right-hand side. And that means that Thomas Verheyen's opportunity of battling with Lars Lambers and Rory Armstrong on day one of the final round of the season. That means Verheyen, I think, is not taking any further part. Let's see, where is Lieke van Berkel? Van Berkel is still running. However, there is a GKS kart that's running a bit on the slow side that I just saw. It's not Alexander Van Meeuwen because he's still in second position. So, 2 laps to go. Ashcroft leads, Van Meeuwen, Lambers, Armstrong, Reed, Freeman, Van Kampenhout. Well, Thomas Verheyen actually got away with it, but somebody else... Oh, hang on a second. I've seen the 123. Oh, Ryan Rivers. Rivers is out. Ryan Rivers is out of the race. My apologies there. I thought it was Thomas Verheyen. I thought I saw the 180. So Thomas Verheyen is still running. 1.2 tenths behind Lieke van Berkel. But the timer expired 20 seconds ago. Alexander Van Meeuwen is within 4.5 tenths. And the new fastest lap at the minute. There's Jack Freeman. Jack Freeman, that was on Tom Reed. No, it's on Rory Armstrong. Jack Freeman is now in 4th place with 1 lap to go. Jack Freeman has seen what's happened behind him. So Jack Freeman now 4th overall, but that's the mini rookie lead. Final lap underway. Ashcroft going through into turn 6 off of the Europalan for the final time on lap number 13 of what we've had with a full course yellow, the first one of the meeting. We had the first red flag, actually, funnily enough, for the Minimax pre-final with the formation lap incident involving Vitek Kubera and Kieran Stewart. It was a very, very hard hit, but I do know that, from what I understand, that both kids are okay. But Ashcroft, another step closer to picking up his 2nd title in Europe. First the European title, and he's a couple of steps away from taking the B&L Karting Series title. But Ashcroft wins the final on day 1, number 1, he says. Rightly so. Alexander Van Meeuwen, Lars Lambers, Jack Freeman, Rory Armstrong. Look at this, 4 wide across the line. And that was won by, okay, get this. Behind Tom Reed, who finished 6th, Vic Van Kampenhout. Okay, these 4 drivers were separated at the line. There were 4 wide. It was like Fast and Furious all over again, as in the original version, but 4 cars instead of 2. Bran van der Weyck Pips, Daniel Ferguson, Thomas Verheyen, and Lieke van Berkel. That's 8th to 11th, covered by 52 thousandths of a second. It was a photo finish on that one. Tristan Shays, Victor Reitz, Pauline Van Preet, Maria Roberto, Samir Paul, Jeff Verbeek, Jonathan Falkenberg, Leon Herbo, Zega Fransens, Jensen Walker, Benedictas Masiokas, and Tristan Abils ran out the 23 that finished. Then we had Ryan Rivers out on lap 10, after a possible incident. Jakub Kubera out on lap 3. The 4 karts involved in the 2 incidents on lap 1 at turn 3. Finn Albert Jorgensen and Maxime Becker and Felipe Reyes and Jenthe Moonen out on the opening tour.